everybody. Before I get started talking about the Humvee and what we've done so far, right now I'm at about 600 subscribers and I would love to have over 1,000. So what I'm doing is I'm going to do a giveaway. So when I reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do one of those auto picker things online that picks 5 people out of the 1,000, and I'm going to give you one of these. This is a lockers before light bars sticker. And so I feel pretty heavily about this. You should always have lockers before you go spend a bunch of money on light bars. And so I made these stickers. So if you want one of these stickers, subscribe to this channel. And when I reach 1,000 subscribers, I will pick 5 people to receive these. I've got a few different colors. We can do them in different sizes, things like that. So please subscribe to the video. Now let's get started talking about this thing. So I'm going to answer a bunch of the questions that I've gotten since I've done the lift and the tires and the wheels and the LS swap. And so let's just go over each one and talk about why I did them and what I recommend them and what they're like. So first thing is I put that lift on there. Now that lift is from Mike Ingvadsarden something on Facebook, All In Metalworks, actually Instagram, All In Metalworks, and all it is a spacer right here. And I did another video on how to install those, and you know, they're less than $400 for all of them, I think. And why would I lift a Humvee? Well, I wanted 42s, honestly, and you know, I like that the ride of the 37-inch tire is great, and it's as good as a Humvee's gonna get, but I wanted something more. I want it bigger, I want it different. Same reason we lift Jeeps and Toyotas and everything else is we want a different vehicle, and it is different on its own, but I wanted it lifted on 42s. And so no other reason than I just wanted it that way. I did put new shocks in there. They're the 12,000 pound shocks. Everybody has asked me, how does it ride now that it's lifted? And it rides worse. Obviously you're compressing the spring. It's a what do you call it, a wagon ride. I mean, it just doesn't flex much at all, especially the rear. When I go over a speed bump, it's like it doesn't have suspension back there. So the people who bought a Humvee and wanted a nice ride, yeah, don't do a lift, but it's a Humvee, for God's sakes, and I don't care about the ride anyway. It looks cool, and it's bigger now, so that's all I wanted. The 12,000 pound shocks, I couldn't tell you either way, whether they made it better, worse, whatever, because I did the lift at the same time. If somebody who has only done the 12,000 pound shocks chimes in, you know, let us know. Did it make the ride better, worse, whatever? Next thing, I changed the brake pads, rotors, everything on the brakes. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show them to you, but you know, it made a big difference. It stops a lot better. It's nicer. I would definitely recommend doing brakes if you buy one of these off GovPlanet. I got the brakes from Advanced Auto Parts off of like a 92 H1 civilian Hummer. That's what I searched, came up fine. Electric fans, I put electric fans on there, and it is 100 degrees today. I've run it all day long and it hasn't gotten over 202 degrees. Let's see, PSC steering, that I love. I don't know if I had to have it. I did have a regular GM pump on here when I did the swap originally, and it whined, and you could tell it was not happy at all. I put the PSC on, bled the system like they tell you to do it, hooked it to the factory cooler, and that thing, it does not make a peep driving it around, and it moves these 42s easily. I mean, it uses a -10 feed line. There's a lot of fluid going there. 12 volt system, 24 volt system. Some people ask why I did that. Well, everything Humvee is still 24 volt. The winches are 24 volt. The headlights, the wipers, everything like that's 24. The motor runs off 12 volt. The way I rigged that up is I bought a dual alternator setup off eBay to run dual alternators for like a high-end stereo system. And then I just adapted by building this bracket and putting on some different spacers so it offset this alternator correctly. And this alternator is off of a Cat diesel. It's actually a European alternator, and it is working phenomenal. It is really, really good. Let's see, the LS swap. Why did I do the LS swap? And I got rid of the diesel. Well, a lot of people don't understand that Detroit diesel is a pig. It was naturally aspirated, 6.2. It was loud, rough, not very reliable from what I hear, although I have not had any experience with mine breaking down. It was a great motor while it was in there. It was just slow, underpowered, etc. So I swapped it in for an LY6 6-liter LS motor, and it has been phenomenal. It runs like a sewing machine, so much quieter, so much smoother. I went with the Sniper EFI system. That's not a carburetor, that's a throttle body from Sniper. It's a 100% built-in system, throttle body, computer, everything's internal to it. And so it runs the engine without issue. The reason I did that was because it's plug and play. I think it was 3 wires plus the MSD box that you see right here. 3 wires had me up and running with an LS swap. I like that a lot. I am going to go back to multi-port injection. That's also going to be Holley. In here, I don't know if you saw in the previous videos, but I gutted this, put a K&M filter in it, and did some modifications to this to make it breathe a little bit better. I've got all the wiring harness and the relays for the electric fan, so the module, this entire radiator system can come out and be put back in just by unplugging these 2 right here and then disconnecting the cooler lines. What else did I do? I did ARB air lockers, which I haven't hooked up yet. Let me go to this side. I did ARB air lockers in both differentials. This is where, currently duct taped for water resistance because I had to take it on the power tour. I got to mount this. I'm going to put the ARB compressor up here. I've got the lines for the lockers already run. So that'll be the next project that I do. On the inside, all new gauges except for the Speedo. The Speedo works fine. I've got your volt, water, oil, fuel. I did have to change the sending unit out to a 12-volt version for the gas tank. I've got my 24-volt over here, and the way that works is the alternator has a trigger, and so I just turn the trigger on, and then I can crank the truck, and that lets the alternator know that we're ready to rock and roll. I've also got the 24-volt gauge, so I can keep an eye on that. Underneath, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I've got a 24-volt panel and a 12-volt panel for all the electrical. In the gas tank itself, I did the Holley retrofit fuel system, which is just, you cut a 3.5-inch hole in the gas tank, you sink that down in there, and it pretty much gives you an in-tank pump for to use a Walboro 255, and it's been really reliable so far. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. But you know, in a short scheme of things, that's really what I've done. Am I happy with it? Hell yes, I'm happy with it. Look at this thing. I mean, it is huge, and it's everybody. I mean, I get thumbs up going down the highway. Everybody loves it. Kids love it. The 42s run great. They are pretty loud, but that's to be expected. I haven't gotten it aligned 100% yet. The toe end's a little too much. I've got to put some of the shackles back on the front. I have not run the winches yet. Since I've done everything, I've got a 12-volt battery under the back seat. So back here, the 12-volt system's under this seat, and then the 24-volt system stays under that front passenger seat. I do have front and rear winches on the truck. So the rear winch is in there. When I did the body lift, it actually worked out well because I've got all this room to get to the winch, the winch controls, etc. It's everything I want, you know. It's not a Jeep, not a Toyota. You don't see them on the trail every day. You don't see 50 of them coming in a line. I'm sure not going to see one like it in my town. And that's really the reason I did it, you know. And to be honest with you, look at this. People say, well, why didn't you just buy a Jeep? You know, you could have done this to a Jeep, or you could have done this to a Toyota. But, I mean, That's over 2.5 feet of clearance all the way down the center of the truck, and everything's tucked into the frame rail. And so to do this to a Jeep or a Toyota, I got to buy 1-ton axles. I've got to buy, you know, do a V8 swap on that, do heavy duty everything. Whereas this, it has portal hubs, it has 1.25 ton drivetrain, it has the axles, the brakes are up in the air so that I don't have to worry about them. I mean, it's a Humvee, for God's sakes. And now it's a Humvee with an LS swap. So I can't wait to get started on the multi-port injection. That's going to be really cool. I did leave the radiator hoses. You see, those are actually steel, and they're done by Chicken City Hot Rods did those. And they do such phenomenal work, and they did them for me so I could still run the mechanical fan if I needed to, like if it were overheating. And it's just been really great. Once I get the multi-port on there, I think it's going to be even better. And that'll be a whole different computer system. That'll be laptop driven, etc. And man, it's gonna be nice. I'll get rid of this duct tape fix right here. You know, that's custom. But yeah, so if you have any questions, comment below. I'll try to go over each thing in a little bit more detail at another time. For instance, you know, what motor mounts did I use? How did the engine fit? Everything. Just so if you want to do this, it's really not that hard. It's really not. You can do it pretty quick. So, you know, just subscribe to the video. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. The next video, hopefully, is I got to get this transmission up to par. I'm still running the factory torque converter, still running the factory governor, everything for that diesel. So this LS motor shifts at like 29 to 3100 RPM. So it's not even in its happy range by the time it's shifting gears. So I've got a new torque converter, got a new governor. I'm going to be going through the transmission next, getting this thing running at its full potential, and then we'll tear the motor apart and put some really cool fuel injection on it. So if you have any questions, let me know. Make sure to subscribe. We're doing the 1,000 subscriber giveaway with the light bar or lockers before light bar sticker, and see you soon.